motivation. So yeah, it's motivation, but really my motivation is just in me. I fight for me and for the support that I have from my team and my family. So when it comes down to it, it's just they should want to win. I don't want to fight somebody who's not there to win. I don't want to fight somebody who's not at their best. I want to beat them when they're at their best. So I wanted her to come with everything she had because that makes it more of a sweet victory, you know. So it doesn't bother me. It does fuel me, but I want them to come. I want them to come. I don't want to beat someone at their worst. I want to beat them at their best.
Holly over here. Just obviously, Chris Cyborg was ringside for you there. What did it mean to have one of your old MMA rivals supporting you?
You know, Chris and I were, stood across the cage from each other, and we had a banger of a fight. So we actually wound up training together after, and we've become friends. She lives not too far from here. I figured she'd be here, but she's always been super supportive. Just over messages and stuff, her and we've become friends, and they've been very positive people, and I was thankful to have her here tonight.
Holly, Los with Fight Hype, right back here. Right back here. First off, congratulations on your win tonight.
Thank you.
How much did this fight motivate you to look forward into the future and maybe for a potential fight against Katie Taylor or Amanda Serrano?
It was fun. I've been excited to box, but still, there's so many nerves going into a fight that never changes. The day that I don't get nervous is the day I know I need to not be fighting. I care to win. I want to win, and still just getting in there and feeling out the actual ring again. That's the first time I've actually even been in a ring. I don't know, because I don't spar in a ring. I don't. I spar in my MMA gym. I only sparred 2 days in shoes. I was barefoot this whole camp. It's just how I train. And I did that a lot before when I was boxing. So it's not that it was just because I did MMA, but it was kind of like, I'm going to put on some boxing shoes and get in this ring. And I haven't been in a ring in that long, really. So it was fun, though. I got in there, and it was just fun, and it still felt like home. It didn't feel foreign. And I had a good time. So I'm ready for another one.
Hey, Holly. Andreas Hale, ESPN. I'm curious, because you're used to fighting 5 rounds, 5 minutes in the UFC. This was 10-2, so it's a lot shorter. How was your conditioning? Because you look fantastic down the stretch of this fight.
They're so short. 2-minute rounds can be so short. And really, I was still training 5-minute rounds in the gym. And then getting closer to the fight, I would just get like one partner, and we'd still be on the 5-minute buzzer for the team. And I would just do 2 minutes, take a minute off, and do 2 minutes. That'd be the 5 rounds, right? And then for the last 2 weeks of training, I would go in at the end of sparring, and a lot of my really good training partners would be there and be there to help me, and they would stay late. And I would do 10 rounds and do like 2 rounds each, so they'd be fresh when they came in, just to keep the pace up with me. I told them it is different MMA to boxing, and one thing is that combos and everything I use kicks a lot. So coming back to just boxing, I'm only using my arms. There's a different conditioning with that. I was always in condition for anything I've done, but there still is a different conditioning for just having only your arms, only 2 weapons. So I wanted to make sure and be very active in sparring and get that every mitt session. I was wearing my 16-ounce gloves every sparring session. I wanted to make sure and get my arms back in boxing shape to where when I got in there, it wasn't going to be like, oh my gosh, my arms feel like they weigh 100 pounds each, So my team was there for me. They helped me, and just discipline.
One more question. Curious, how active do you want to be now that you're back in the ring? Do you looking to get back in the ring again before the end of the year?
I would love to fight before the end of the year. Absolutely.
Holly, Kevin Garcia again. I just had a question for you on a different note. Somebody you're very close with just retired and made that announcement, John Jones. Just wanted to get your thoughts on John Jones' retirement and any words of encouragement or just a message for John on his retirement.
For John and any fighter, honestly, I think they just need to follow their heart. And when you want to do it, do it. And when you want to retire. I think a lot of people can be really swayed a lot of different ways. People put pressure. So any fighter that wants to keep fighting, keep doing it. And if you want to retire and enjoy it. He's had a legendary career. He's fought the best of the best when they were the best. And he's done it well. And he's he's a great fighter. You don't find them like that, as dominant as he was, as skilled as he was. So I wish him well.
Hey, Holly. Ashley from Not Just Boxing. Congratulations on the win. I just want to know, what's the secret to your longevity?
I think it's just I don't feel when people tell me that I'm old, I don't feel it. I do think that it's activity. I think that it's a mindset. I think that it's a basic health. I think there's a lot of things to it. But I think the number one thing is that as long as it's your passion, trust me, I have trainers that I truly trust. And if they felt like I really didn't have it in me to do it anymore, they would tell me. So I keep those people close to me and I listen to them. And I feel like I know I can still do it, and they believe in me too. And that's all it takes. I still want to do it. That's my passion. So I'm not going to do it forever. Obviously, it's like the years are getting, less. But I know that I'm still healthy and I'm still ready to go.
Mm-hmm. And one more question. So it was great to see you back in the ring. What can we see next from you?
Better. I had fun tonight, but I definitely am wanting more from myself.
Hi, Holly. It's Abraham Gonzalez, Fights Around the World. Congratulations on your win. You were speaking about the nerves that you had. Watching it as an observer in the first round, you can kind of see those nerves in there. Would like to know some of your thoughts in between rounds 1 and 2, because round 2 you seemed like you were a lot more comfortable. Just kind of your internal thoughts on how you processed filling out the ring in that opening round and getting those nerves leveled out.
I think I was just wanting to feel her out a little bit, but after round 1, I sat down. I was like, well, that wasn't enough. Definitely not enough. Holly, you better pick it up. And round 2 was a little more, but still not enough, So, and I think it just took too long to get going, and that's definitely not what I want to do. I want to be able to get in there and start snapping from the get-go. And those are things that I want to do better next time.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Holly.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Oh,
Yeah, Raul, come up here. I'm Eric Gomez, guys, with Golden Boy Promotions, and I'll bring up both of our guys here. First of all, I just want to thank everybody at MVP. This was a fun show. This was great. It was a lot of fun working with them. They're very professional. I want to thank Mike. Where do you go? There he is. Mike, Rick, Nakisa, obviously, and Jake for collaborating with Golden Boy. It was a great night of boxing. Broke a record tonight, biggest attendance ever at the Honda Center, so we're very, very proud of that. And us at Golden Boy, we take a lot of pride in making matches that are even, matches that are, just, you can't pick a winner. They're very, very good, very competitive matches. And I have to say, tonight, I was very disappointed because these two guys are gonna ruin our reputation. Big wins for Raul Curiel, Kid Schofield here, and I'm very, very proud of them. They made it look easy, pretty much. I thought there was going to be a little bit more even fights, but that's just how good these guys are, and they're training great. And it's for Kid, your dad, great job. Senior Pops, thank you. Management, Mike, our co-promoter, Cameron Davies, thank you very much for everything. But it was a big night for Kid. So I'll open it up to questions for Kid first, and then we'll go to Raul Curiel. Go ahead, Kid. Yeah. Questions?
Hey, Floyd. Andrea Sell from ESPN. You did to Tevin Farmer what Zepeda couldn't do in 2 fights. What is the statement that you feel like you made tonight, especially because you want either Zepeda or Shakur in the next fight?
I feel like those are 2 different things. Zepeda's fight and my fight were two different fights. So what I did to Tevin, I'm not looking what Zepeda tried to do. Let me just see if I could do the same thing to Zepeda.
I'm curious, are you surprised at how quickly the fight ended? Because you stepped on the gas pretty early, you got Tevin hurt. Were you surprised that it didn't get out of the first round?
Yes and no. So much was going on that I was just thinking of like a mile a minute. So when the fight was over, it didn't register that the fight was over. I was just so hyped. Like I told my dad, I just wanted to, run out the ring and just celebrate. But yes and no.
Floyd, congratulations.
Thank you.
Great performance. I was not expecting that. I don't think anyone was. Very, very good. There was a tweet from Shakur. You might have already seen it. I just want to say it to you and get your response. He said, any fight is dangerous in the first round, especially these little kids. Don't get hyped too off Tev being irresponsible.
He might want to take that advice into the Zepeda fight. He got something else to worry about. So, like I said, may the best man win that fight, but Zepeda's coming, so he better be on his A game.
And do you want the winner of that?
Of course. I would love the winner of that fight. Like I said, both of them got a hard night ahead of each other.
Floyd, Kevin Garcia, aka the Puerto Rican Kid KG, congratulations on a big win, and you're welcome. I just wanted you to send a message to, considering what you've been through, last couple months were tough. There were a lot of questions coming out of February. Do you have any message for all the people who hated on you, said you ducked, and maybe even to all the new fans you won tonight?
Not really. If you was a hater, continue to hate. If you was a supporter, I appreciate you, love you. But we're just going to keep doing great things and keep getting bigger. And like I said, me and Shakur got unfinished business at the end of the day. So that's going to eventually happen, and I'll be able to prove what I was going to do in February. Dang, y'all nervous. I don't bite, y'all.
All right, so obviously Raul Curiel, big win also, beautiful performance, and that fight was a WBA eliminator, and he's ready for any of the big names, any of the champions, any of the big names. This kid works very, very hard also, and it just seems like every single fight he keeps getting better, better, and better. So with that, I'll open up questions for Raul Curiel.
Raul, Marcus Hayes here, Fight Hub TV. First off, congratulations on the big victory right here. In the beginning of the fight, the first couple of rounds, it seemed like a tale of body shots. You guys were digging to each other's bodies. Explain that experience, what it's like trading body blows with another guy. What is that like?
Well, all the respect for my opponent because he was a hard hitting. He comes to fight and win the fight. And I tried to put all my experience on the line and everything, like, thank God, going well. And I'm very happy for my performance. I think I do it well. And I'm ready for everything. Like Eric said, I'm ready for every champ, whoever's available. Now I'm winning the title eliminator, so I'm here to fight anyone in the division. Thank you.
Hey, Raul, congratulations. This is Abraham from Fights Around the World. So I know that this was a title eliminator. According to the rankings right now, Giasov is number one. If you can't get one of those big names, is that a guy that you would mind fighting next?
Whoever they put me in front, I'm gonna fight. I just want to have the best fights. I try to make my legacy as a Mexican welterweight champion, and I'm available to fight anyone. I'm not scared to anyone. That's why I'm training very hard. That I'm gonna say that shout out to my trainer, Robert Garcia and Felipe Campa. They're here present. They know that I work here hard. So any champ available or any names, whoever they put me in front, I'm gonna fight them.
Raul, felicidades, Raimundo Dios's Fight Spear. Can you put us through what those exchanges felt like? Because it felt like either guy could have come out on top with that. How were you able to outpunch him and ultimately stop him?
Yeah, that's what I say. He was a hard hitting, he's a hard puncher. He comes to win, and it was a brawl. I always try to make it worse for the people, for the fans. I know that's why they paid a ticket, And I know it's going to be a war because I stood in before the fight, and I know it was strong. But we make a good fight plan for this one. And I feel very stronger, and I feel every fight doing better and better. Thank you.
Raúl, buenas noches. Erika Montoya
Hola.
del Heraldo de México.
Ah.
Una muy buena victoria, una buena forma de ganar esta eliminatoria y arrancar tu trabajo junto a Robert García.
Sí, muchas gracias, muchas gracias. Lo voy a contestar en español porque es por México. Bien agradecido con Dios, bien agradecido con toda la gente que me ha apoyado. Aprovecho este momento pues darle gracias a Golden Boy, aquí a Eric Gómez que siempre me ha estado apoyado, a mi Frank Espinosa, mi manager que también están aquí, Robert ahora como mi entrenador y con todo el equipo del gimnasio. Estamos listos para los nombres que vengan. Estoy muy emocionado por la actuación que tuve también. Estoy preparado para los que vengan, estoy muy motivado y ahora que ganamos esta eliminatoria mundial, estamos a un paso de ese campeonato mundial y de traerle a México otro campeón welter que lleva tiempo que no tenemos, pero estoy muy concentrado y sé que van a salir las cosas muy bien y pues tengo el apoyo de México, que es lo más importante.
Arriba del ring mencionaste a Rolly Romero. ¿Por qué él?
Sabemos que él es el campeón ahorita, el que tiene el cinturón regular y pues como lo he dicho antes, o sea, al peleador que me pongan enfrente yo voy a trabajar, voy a tratar de dar el mejor espectáculo para la gente y pues claro, yo tengo un sueño más que nada, tengo una meta que es ser campeón del mundo y pues estoy un paso, como te digo, tengo que trabajar más fuerte, cuidarme más, pero primeramente yo voy a lograr el objetivo, yo sé que lo voy a lograr. Gracias.
Okay, thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
And, okay. Get some food with us here. Get some food. All right, guys. Good job. See you.
See you in the next one.
Yes, sir.
Boy, good job, man. Red one up here. Which side you want to see? Yeah, I saw. Which side you want to see?
All right, everyone. Nikisa Badarian and Jake Paul. Let's go,
Thank
Jake.
you, everybody, for being here. First of all, thank you to the Honda Center for having us. Proud to say in over 60 events at this venue, we broke the record with a gate of 1.57 million with an average ticket price of $159. So in this environment, to be able to achieve that for Jake Paul, once again, defying the odds. Ryan Garcia headlined here, Canelo headlined here, Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal headlined here, and he set the record. Also want to thank DAZN for their partnership. It's always great to work with them, and I think we had a very successful night in pay-per-view. In terms of Jake's commercial pay-per-view track record, this event was only behind Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz. So once again, an amazing performance, and now showing he's doing it against the boxers. Before I hand it over to Jake, I just want to say one thing. He fought a 39-year-old Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., and Zurdo Ramirez fought a 39-year-old opponent. Jake Paul thoroughly outclassed his opponent. Zurdo did not in his, 50th fight, or whatever the number of fights are that Zurdo has had. So before people online start to criticize that Jake isn't ready to be champion, they should look at exactly who's his co-main, the person he was fighting, the experience that Zurdo has, and what Jake Paul showed tonight.
Thank you. That was a very kind intro. We love you, Nikisa.
Questions, please. Yep. Go ahead.
Nikisa, with everything that you just said, let's get to business. What does a fight with Jake Paul and Zurdo Ramirez look like with the caliber and the acumen that Zurdo already has shown?
I think the biggest issue with that fight, to be honest with you, is that Zurdo didn't show himself to be at all a promoter in this process, right? When you look at this fight week, we said to Golden Boy multiple times, why aren't we seeing more out of Zurdo? Why isn't he more engaged with the fans? And that, to me, is a big part of making that massive championship moment for Jake. He ultimately has to make the decision, but someone like Badu Jack is also someone that we want to have a conversation with, because both of these guys, I don't think are great promoters, so we're going to make the right choice. Jake?
Yeah, we still want to get it done, though. I'm used to these guys not being good promoters, but at the end of the day, I'm going to fight all of these guys. I feel like tonight was just the first day of my boxing career, and I just got warmed up, and now this is the chapter 2 moving forward. Yeah, no, I felt the crowd's energy, even though they were against me. I love it. I feed off of that. And I think it's funny when I'm landing, you know, however many punches I land, 250 or 200, and he landed whatever, like 100, but they just scream every single time he lands a punch. But at the end, they were quiet. So that's how it goes always.
But that shows you the mental toughness of Jake Paul, to your question, right? For this young man to consistently go in, not in Puerto Rico, they love him in Puerto Rico, but to consistently go in around the U.S. and be treated like the underdog in that arena and not being supported the right way, and for him to persevere and to be cool, calm, collected, and composed and deliver is pretty amazing.
Hey, Jake, right over here to your right. Andreas L. from ESPN. Listen, the last time you fought a fighter that had a lot of pressure towards you was Tommy Fury. You looked a lot different tonight. And people still go back to that fight and say, well, he couldn't beat Tommy Fury. Talk about how much different you are of a fighter now as opposed to when you fought Tommy.
I don't even think I was a fighter then. I was like 2.5 years into the sport. And I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't have the proper team around me, the proper conditioning. My lifestyle outside of the ring was still that of like a YouTuber, celebrity actor, whatever I was at that point in time. So I wasn't fully focused on boxing. Like I said, feels like chapter 1's done tonight. Now we're moving into chapter 2, and I'm just getting warmed up in the sport. But people hold the Tommy Fury thing against me, but what now? I just beat a former world champion, and I'm coming to avenge that loss as well with Tommy.
Now, I know you're after a world title, but if that doesn't materialize, I know the Tommy Fury name has been floated about. Is there any other fighters who may not be world champions that you're looking to face?
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Joshua.
I think that's the main one that, you know, we've talked a lot about is if it's not for the title, it's looking at Tommy, if he's reasonable, and then Anthony Joshua. And he's adamant that he wants to make that fight happen at the end of 2026. And we're going to meet with Matchroom while we're in New York to promote the greatest trilogy in the history of boxing, Taylor Serrano 3.
Hey, last question, Nikisa. This one's for you because I was going to bring up the Joshua thing. I know you've talked to Eddie Hearn in the past. Do you think they're keen on taking that fight? And Jake, this is also to you. Moving back up to heavyweight, like how did you feel coming back down and moving back up?
No, I'm definitely not a heavyweight, but I'm still going to take the challenge. But, you know, you look at Deontay Wilder, he was beating these guys weighing 215 pounds. So anything is granted, he's like 6'6" or something, but anything's possible. And so I like the challenge. People, that's the criticism. Fight someone in their prime who's a beast. I think people just want to see me lose. That's really what the message is behind it all. And Anthony Joshua is an insane fight, but I want that challenge. We've been DMing back and forth. He wants to make it happen. He called me up, and it's looking very likely for next year.
Yeah, and when Jay came out with that, you know, Eddie said in the media, if he's serious, you do it at the end of 2025. No, Jake's going to do it on a timeline where he feels prepared to have a good chance against Anthony Joshua, and he believes that's the end of 2026.
Jake, what was it like for you, especially like in the last 4 rounds where it was like toe-to-toe and, you know, the fists were flying?
It was great. You know, I love that he brought a good fight at the end, and I think that the fans got a good fight to see him come out, put some punches on me, and it makes me better. It brings the best out of me. I started catching his shots, shooting back, and I had to elevate tonight and rise to a different level, and I'm glad that the fans got to see me get punched in the face a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's good. I love a good fight.
You also went through VADA testing this camp. Now that I saw you posted something on
social media.
social
Not this camp. He's gone through full VADA testing multiple times, right? Tommy Fury, Nate Diaz, this fight.
Yeah. How many times do they typically test you when they put you through the ringer like that?
Yeah, it's random, and they can come 2-3 days in a row sometimes, and just as much as they want whenever they want. So people just always love to make rumors up about me, but I do drug testing, the commission drug testing right before the fight, all these types of things.
They should focus on Canelo and his team, not on Jake Paul. 'Cause
Yeah,
Jake
they just
Paul
pop.
has been clean
It's
time
so
and time
crazy.
again.
It's so crazy that people that actually pop for this shit, they don't call them out. And then I'm over here looking like a doughboy. I got love handles, dog. That's after not eating for fucking 3 weeks, basically. So, if I was on that shit, it wasn't fucking working.
Jake, here, Ricardo Lopez, La Opinion, congratulations for the victory. What can you say about Julio, who last year was attending a rehab center? He was arrested. He was in a very dark phase of his life, and today he gave you a very competitive fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm very happy that Julio's in a better spot, and he came to fight tonight. He was in really good shape, and he's a warrior. And so I hope he keeps on that track and keeps on living a good life outside of the ring, and hopefully this can set him on a good path.
Jake, you made a pretty big case in the ring too. Like after goading the crowd and being a heel, you did pay tribute to Ben Askren and show your support there. What was it about that whole thing that we've learned this week that made you want to make that big message in the ring in front of all those people?
Well, I mean, it's just insane. Insurance is a fucking scam, and it's so sad. And right when you need these companies, they're not there, and it's fucked up. And his insurance denied him to get the double lung transplant, which is also one of the most expensive surgeries, which is why they denied it. And it just sucks. It sucks that no one's doing anything. I was obviously super busy this week, so we're figuring out the donation now, but none of these people like Dana or anyone stepping in, so I feel like I have to do something, and that's really all it is.
And speaking of Dana, who do you think did better on pay-per-view tonight, you guys or the UFC?
I hope they did, because they've been around for 40 years, and they've been building this company a lot longer than we have. This young man is 13 fights into his career, and he's being mentioned in the same breath as UFC. He's being mentioned in the same breath as Anthony Joshua and Canelo Alvarez, who've been doing this for 20-plus years. So hopefully for them, they did better than us. But for our little company with this young entrepreneur, the most professional boxer in professional boxing, we're doing pretty well.
Hey, Jake. With your plans to face Zurdo and maybe Anthony Joshua in the future, is Canelo totally out of the picture in your boxing career plans?
No, he's not out of the picture. I think once I get the belt, he's going to want to fight for the Cruiserweight Championship and add that belt to his resume, and I think he would become like a 3 or 4 or 5 weight champion. So I think that would be what interests him. So that's the plan.
Hi, Jake, over here. First off, congratulations, Leo Orozco with the main event. You called out a lot of people tonight, but I want to know, out of all those people, what is your dream matchup for yourself, and what is your dream matchup for the sport of boxing? Like 2 people you think need to get in the ring with each other.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's so many names. To be honest, I like all of them. I like all of the fights. Anthony Joshua excites me. Avenging the Tommy loss excites me. Gervonta excites me. KSI, he'll never get into the ring with me. Zurdo excites me. Badu excites me. So there's a lot of amazing fights. But I think the fight I would like to see in boxing as a fan is Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury.
Hi, Jake Paul. My name is Sassy with Elite Champ TV. That was an amazing performance between you and Cesar Chavez Jr. tonight. Now, in round 9, the heat really turned up. Did you feel the Mexican power that he promised, or do you feel like he didn't perform the way you thought that he would?
No, yeah, he brought a hard fight there at the end, and that's that Mexican warrior style. I don't know how he was eating all those punches, to be honest. My hands low-key hurt from his face. And so, respect to him. He had good cardio, and he came on strong at the end. He's a very, very strong guy, had a lot of power, but people underestimate my chin and my ability and my toughness.
Jake, Jonathan Agger of Pro Boxing Fans. During the week, you had a viral interview with Piers Morgan where he said that he didn't think that you would beat Chavez. He felt like when you fight a former world champion, you'll come unstuck. What did you prove to not only him but other people that have criticised you?
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, actions speak louder than words. So people can sit behind their desks and sit on their TV shows and say a lot of things about my career, but everyone's tuning in, everyone's watching, and I just continue to win.
And you mentioned Anthony Joshua. Does it end there? Would you want to bring Tyson Fury out of retirement?
Man, there's too many people for me to fight. I need more time. At the end of the day, that's the only thing I can't do is create more time. So we'll see what happens.
Hey, over here, Jake. Congratulations on your win. This is Abraham Gonzalez, Fights Around the World. I saw that after the second round, you made some adjustments in the ring. What was it that you saw from Chavez that maybe made you make some in-ring adjustments, or maybe there were some of the things that you were working on during training camp? Just kind of walk us through some of those tactics that you went through throughout the fight.
Yeah, no, I saw that he was trying to do these looping shots, and so I just had to keep my hands higher. And he was moving off to the side, and so I just had to move with him and get off to an angle. And then he had a good high guard, and he was starting to block the right hook. So that's when I started bringing the uppercut, which started landing. And then from there, he had to defend the uppercut and the right hook. So both of them started landing and just kept on making adjustments. I saw that he was weak to the body, kept going to the body, just kept him hurting there the whole entire night, and just kept the jab going. That was pretty much it.
Hey, Jake Paul. First and foremost, congratulations. My name is Marcus Portillo with Fightbook. I just want to ask you, what is your why? What is getting you up in the morning? I mean, you have so much success already. You really don't need the sport of boxing, to be honest with you. So, like, what is driving you? What is pushing you through your day-to-day, man? I need to know, as a fighter, you know, as an influencer, as everything you've accomplished, what is your big why, man? What is your why?
It's a great question, and you're right. It is crazy, and I think for me, it's that God told me what my sacred responsibility was in a ceremony that I was doing. He said that you have to become world champion to inspire so many kids and create an amazing sports story. And so I set that goal for myself, and I want to be impeccable with my word and stay committed and prove to myself that I can do this and become world champion in the world's hardest sport in roughly 6 to 7 years, because I think it can be one of the most relatable and inspiring sports stories of all time, and no one thought it was possible. Nobody. Like, look, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, people laughed at me. I'm going to lose to fucking Gibb, then Nate Robinson, then Ben. Come on. So at the end of the day, that's my why, and I'm dead set on becoming world champion.
But just on that point, it's a dual why, right? Because he's also doing it outside of the ring. There's literally no other fighter in the world active who's doing what he's doing at age 28 for other fighters. That's number one. Number two, there's literally no athlete in the world in history who has put on for the women of their sport the way that Jake Paul has, okay? And all you guys in the media don't recognize that enough. And I love the media. I encourage the media to be a part of our story, to be a part of our events. But you have to recognize what he's doing. No one, like even Kobe Bryant started adding to women's basketball as his daughters got into basketball. But that's it. There's Jake Paul, and there's no one else that's putting it on for the women like that. So I hope when we get to New York and he's there on the ground every year pushing for all those athletes, the media recognizes what this man has done.
Jake, just down here. Jake, there's a lot of talk before the fight about potentially getting ranked by the WBC and WBA, but it was performance-based. Do you think the fact that you actually went 10 rounds again would give you more chance of getting ranked than if you had just stopped him early?
Yeah, I think that people got to see more of a skill set from me tonight and some of the things that I've been working on, and my toughness, the cardio, all of these things. So I think going 10 rounds was a great experience for me under the lights, and I think it could lead to a really good ranking because of what I was able to display. And really, from my memory, like, he only hit me probably like 8 good times in a 10-round fight. Is pretty good.
How do you not rank him? Like, how do you not rank Jake Paul after that performance where he totally neutralized a much more experienced, accomplished fighter than himself?
When do you expect to find out whether he will get ranked? Did they communicate that?
No.
And if he does get ranked, would that likely be the path or the goal is to get a world title fight next?
Yeah, man, that's the goal. That's why we're here. That's the only thing I haven't accomplished in the sport of boxing, right? Knockout of the year, most watched fight ever. That's the last thing on the list.
But everything's based on timing, right? The right opportunity has to exist at the right time, and there's other fights that come up that he may want to do in between. We'll look at those. One last question, Mike.
Right here. Simon Samana with MMA Junkie. Jake, you were just asked about your why, and you mentioned kids being a big part of the motivation. You used your time in the not in the cage, sorry, MMA Junkie. You used your time in the ring afterwards, you know, to send a message to kids about not giving up on their dreams. Why try to appeal to kids? Why is it so important to you to appeal to kids in that way?
Yes, kids need someone to look up to, and I think we're just in a system where you go to school and you do the same thing, and we're just printing out these cookie cutters of people, and they're not inspired to chase their dreams and to do what they want to do, and because of that, people aren't happy. They don't think it's possible, and a lot of times adults are already creating these ruts in their life every single day that they can't change, habits, thought patterns, all of these things. So I realized that with kids, you can actually have a bigger impact on them, and they can change who they are more easily and set themselves up for future success. And I guess a lot of it comes from no one being there for me as a kid, or having a role model or someone that I could look up to, and I wish I had that. And so I guess now I feel like I need to do that back for people.
Do you feel like people would hear this from you and maybe be surprised, but you feel like you've been misunderstood this whole time as you've come up in boxing?
Yeah, no, 100%.
I mean, he's misunderstood, but his actions don't show misunderstanding. He's had boxing bullies for the past 3 years, and he's renovated over 15 gyms, right, giving back to the community, putting boxing gloves in the hands of kids, teaching them discipline, teaching them focus, teaching them how to become better young human beings. So it's not like he may be misunderstood because people aren't looking closely enough to see what he's been actually doing.
Yeah, I don't think people want to see that side. I think I have so many fans, but I also have so many haters, and I focus on the fans that are there all the time. Everywhere I go, in person, mobbed, can't go outside, all love, thousands of pictures if I go anywhere. So, like, I focus on that, but there's so many people in the shadows or bots. Who knows if they're even real? They might be fucking AI, but those people fucking hate me. So I don't think they want to see the good or any of the positive things that I do. And I understand that. That's the world we live in. We're divided as humans. There's so much hatred in the world, and we can't seem to find more love, and it's pretty sad.
And the last question for me about your walkout. You walked out to that down, a.k.a. Kilo classic, Lean Like a Cholo, draped in the Mexican flag colors. I mean, what was the thought process going to that? And actually, I'll just say, I'm surprised you know that song.
Yeah, that was one of my songs I danced to as a kid growing up. But it was sort of like an ode to his dad. I wore the same outfit that his dad always wore walking into fights. So it was a respect to his dad, but also that's what I said when I got in the ring. I said, I'm going to be your daddy tonight.
Last question.
Jake Paul.
Asim.
How you doing? I just want to say, I'm sure Nikisa, Mike, a lot of people at MVP Promotion feel the same way. You made me proud tonight. I seen you start this boxing
I want to
game.
clap for that. It takes a big man to say that.
I seen you start in boxing, and you were tough. That's it. You couldn't put 2-3 punches together or nothing. You were tough. I've seen you come a long way. Even from when we were supposed to fight, you still continue to grow. You showed a great jab tonight. You showed good defense. You controlled the ring. You're really learning this, and I give you the utmost respect in that.
Thank you, man.
Now, my question is, I got 2 questions. My question is, are you tired of the negativity you get because of your opponents? Because you bring the fight. You throwing the punches, but it seems like you don't have a dance partner to get in there and boogie with.
No, I think what a lot of people don't realize, I neutralize a lot of my opponent's stuff with footwork, movement, feints, and then they can't get past the jab when I'm working. But yeah, like, I don't know. I don't really care what people say at the end of the day, because every single time I just prove myself more and more, and slowly that's turning the tide.
Are we ever going to see you versus KSI?
Man, well, who knows? Who knows? We've been trying to make it happen, and it just on their side, they don't want to make it happen, right? Look at the person who's consistently fighting anyone, anytime, any place, continuing to go, continuing to do it, continuing to negotiate with people and make things happen and make compromises with different teams and this and that. And then he's just there dropping meme songs. So at the end of the day, I think you can look through that. He's going to say a lot of shit. It's propaganda on both sides, but look who's really fighting all the time and making these fights happen for the past 5 years, and it's me.
Last thing, I got to ask you, because everybody asks me, when could we,
Man, take a ticket.
you know?
Thank you, everybody. We
Appreciate
appreciate
you.
it. Really appreciate the media.
Much love. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Hey, man. Thanks for being a gentleman. Straight up.
Thank you, bro. Fight of the night.
Performance of the night.
Performance of the night goes to Floyd Schofield.
Yeah!
Congrats.
Hello, hello, hello. All right, we got the world champion here, Zurdo Ramirez. Tough fight, tough fight, toe-to-toe fight. So I'm gonna open it up for questions. Any questions for Zurdo Ramirez?
Before we do, let's face these results.
Yeah, let's do it. You want a picture? Yeah.
Ready today? Let's go! Let's go. Thank you, everybody. Congrats on the win, man. Come on.
Okay, test. Okay. With that, any questions for Zurdo? Go ahead.
Zurdo, Kevin Garcia, a.k.a. the Puerto Rican Kid KG. I think the most obvious question is, what do you think about that? You know, you just coming off a victory and, you know, coming to your press conference and you're running into Jake Paul right away. That talk is going to build up. What do you think about facing off with him and a fight with him next potentially?
Yeah, I mean, I give the credit that what he did in the fight. And, I mean, Chavez Jr. was a world-class world champion, and he did great.
So do you think this legitimizes Jake as a boxer? A lot of people have talked about whether he is actually a legitimate boxer or not. Is this the victory that does it?
Yeah, I mean, I give a lot of credit to Jake Paul in this win.
Zurdo, acá de este lado, Víctor Mesa de Miss First Boxing. Te tomó un poco de unos cuantos rounds a acoplarte a su estilo. ¿Y qué fue lo que te dijo tu esquina en esos 3 rounds?
Bueno, al principio empecé lento porque pues estaba listo y luego te tienes que esperar otra vez por la televisión y un show, pero pues yo creo que fue una buena pelea para mí. Hice lo que la esquina me dijo y pues salí victorioso.
Para ti, una pelea con Jake Paul, ¿cuál sería el resultado? ¿Cómo crees que se desarrollaría entre tú y él?
Todo el mundo sabe que Zurdo es el campeón. Tengo 2 títulos y lo mantendría cuando quiera, estoy listo.
Zurdo, felicidades por la victoria. Victoria dura. ¿Te sorprendió la combatividad y la cantidad de golpes que lanzaba Dórticos? Y la otra es, ¿te interesa unificar los campeonatos o pelear con Jake Paul?
Pues al principio sí me sorprendió mucho Dórticos porque pega y aguanta también. Le tiré muchos golpes y aguantó bastante. La segunda, estoy para pelear con lo mejor, con el que sea, y pues estoy listo para pelear con Jake Paul también si quiere él. Darle la oportunidad.
Bueno, zurdo, Oscar Arrieta para Línea Directa. Preguntarte primero qué significa esta victoria para ti en cuanto a tu récord, en tu preparación ya en el peso crucero, instalarte como un campeón en tu primera defensa unificada, y también qué significa como boxeador que tantos peleadores quieran estar en tu lista. Benavides está, Jake Paul se acaba de sumar, Opetaya, Badou Jack.
Pues para mí es un orgullo el estar en esta posición, el representar a México también, el ser más atleco. Para mí eso me llena de orgullo porque hace tiempo quería estar en los grandes escenarios. Gracias a Dios lo he conseguido a base de trabajo, de disciplina, de estar ahí. Ahora soy campeón y quiero tener todos los títulos también.
¿Qué tal, zurdo? Felicidades por el triunfo, Daniel Olea, Zona Deportiva. Preguntarte, acaba de mencionar, obviamente, Jake Paul, que sí quiere pelear contigo, pero le preocupaba el ver que durante toda esta semana no has promocionado esa pelea, no te has promocionado a ti mismo. ¿Qué respondes al respecto? Y si no se da esta pelea, ¿cuál sería una pelea ideal pensando en que dejes un legado como campeón?
Pues mira, el legado ya lo tengo. Primer campeón mundial en las 168, ahora primer campeón mundial en las 200 libras y primer campeón con 2 títulos en las 200 libras. Yo creo que pues no tengo por qué andar promocionándome. La gente de boxeo sabe que zurdo es el campeón. No tengo por qué estar pidiendo como ahora Jake Paul y pues.
How you doing? Ashley from Notice Boxing. Jai Pataya, when can it happen?
That's the fight that I want to. For anyone, I'm the champion. Then
I hope that's next. Thank you.
Anything else? All right. Guys, thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Hey champ, I know why you're here. You're a born winner, the top dog. You have a proper punch on you. It only takes one, eh? But I know you're not all about throwing haymakers. You know your bobs from your weaves. And you know DAZN's got over 150 live events every year. Over 150. Proper stacked. All the action, the chaos, the comebacks, the non-stop knockouts. Big fights every week. So get those gloves back on. Together, we're boxing royalty. DAZN, undisputed.